Hello everyone. So we are back again with Political Science of class 12th. In the previous lecture we have started with the third chapter of Politics in India since independence, and this chapter is regarding the India's foreign policy. There are minor changes in this chapter in this year's syllabus that we will discuss, of course, along with the previous ones. In the last lecture we have discussed about India's basic objectives of India's foreign policy along with the India's policy of non-alignment, and moreover we have also begun with India's relationship with China, where we had already discussed that the relationship with China was not strained right from the very beginning. It got strained later on because of the disputes over the two territorial regions which were a part of Indian territory. We have also discussed that in the meanwhile, when the entire world was involved in the Cuban Missile Crisis, then there was a swift and massive invasion by China in October 1962, and this invasion was on both the disputed regions. In the first attack, which lasted for 1 week, China could capture some of the areas of Arunachal Pradesh. Moreover, in the second attack, which came 1 month after, China managed to advance to the entry point of Assam plain. But finally, what happened? Finally, China declared a unilateral ceasefire and its troops withdrew to the same point from where they had begun before the invasion. But what happened? All this, both the attacks of China and this strained relationship from China had a very negative impact on India's image. As the politicians say, and many writers also write, that this invasion actually dented India's image, and this made the people realize that India was still not in a condition to become military. On the military front, it was not self-sufficient, and India had to ask for military assistance from American and British forces to combat this attack of China. As far as the Soviet Union was concerned, the Soviet Union remained neutral in this case. So what happened? That, as in the last lecture only I told you, that Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel and many other leaders were not very happy with India's friendly relationships with China, and they were not supporting Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru's stand on dealing with China. So what happened? When this all invasion took place and a lot of money of India was wasted on the defense front, then taking the responsibility, the then defense minister V. Krishna Menon, he left the cabinet. Along with him, many of the army officers also either took retirement or they resigned from their services. This war with China was on this issue. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru also was severely criticized. Why? Because everybody said that there was a lack of military preparedness and India was not in a situation to fight China. So a no confidence movement was first time after independence. A no confidence movement was moved and debated in the Lok Sabha against the then government. So you could say a new political look began as a result of this Indo-China war. This also alerted the Indian leadership to the volatile situation in the northeast region. They realized that this northeast region, something has to be done for maintaining the integrity of this part of India, and as a result, immediately after this, Nagaland was granted statehood, while Manipur and Tripura, which were union territories, they were given the right to elect their own legislative assemblies. So this all was the result of this Chinese invasion and this strained relationship. And it nearly took more than a decade to resume the normal relationship between India and China. It was in 1960 1976 that full diplomatic relations restored between the two countries, and the then External Affairs Minister, Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee, he visited China in 1979. Later on, Shri Rajiv Gandhi was the second Prime Minister after Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, who visited China as a move to restore the relationship between both the countries. Since then, the emphasis is more on trade relations between the two countries. Off and on, a minor territorial disputes keep on propping up, but what has been taken into consideration that more and more stress should be on the trade relationships rather than on the other front. So you would not say that the initial friendship relationship which began during the period of Pandit Nehru resumed, but yes, things restored back to peace, and the emphasis is now more on trade relations between the two countries. One more issue of contention between India and China was that China supported Pakistan, and this was a very important aspect which again was enough to enrage the Indian government. So along after with China, we will also be discussing the relationship with few more countries, but before then that, let us first consider India's relationship with its close neighbors. To begin with, Pakistan. In already the chapter on partition, you must be well aware that a lot of pressure, a lot of unrest was created in the Indian subcontinent. A lot of violence was there, lots of people were killed, a lot of property was destroyed. As a result, what happened? That the relationship between both these countries was not on a very happy note. But what? And moreover, in 1947, a proxy war over the Kashmir issue also occurred between India and Pakistan. But this proxy war could not take the form of a full-scale war. And leaving aside this Kashmir issue, apart from that, both the governments, they worked together to restore the women who were abducted during the partition period. There was a water dispute also regarding the river water, and this water dispute also was peacefully resolved by the mediation of the World Bank. And India-Pakistan Indus Water Treaty was signed in 1960 by between Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru and General Ayub Khan. And over the years, this treaty has somehow been peacefully followed by both the countries. Gradually, during this period only, what happened? That serious armed conflict occurred in the Rann of Kutch area in April 1965. And this armed conflict, or this war condition, turned into a bigger offensive attack in Jammu and Kashmir in the same year in August and September. To counter this offensive attack, India also planned a counter-offensive on the Punjab borders, and gradually the Indian army reached near Lahore. The conditions became full of tension, brimming with tension, the whole area, and the hostilities have increased to their zenith. But these hostilities ended by the intervention of United Nations, where the Tashkent Agreement was signed by the then Prime Minister Lal Bahadur Shastri and General Ayub Khan. This was basically done to settle out the hostilities between both the countries. Along with Pakistan only, we have one more neighbor, Bangladesh. Okay? Now, Bangladesh initially was a part of Pakistan only, and in 1970, what happened? That in Pakistan faced an internal crisis. Now, what was the internal crisis? In the elections, Shri Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, he won, his party won in West Pakistan, while the party led by General Mujibur Rahman won in East Pakistan, which is now Bangladesh. As a result, why? Because there was a lot of unrest in the Bangladesh area. They felt that the people of West Pakistan gave them a status of second-class citizens, and they were pressurized by the government, and they were not given the basic freedom that they required. So after this victory of Mujibur Rahman, what happened? That in 1971, the Pakistani army arrested Mujibur Rahman and unleashed a reign of terror in the Bangladesh region. This reign of terror further led the way to a movement of liberation which took place in Bangladesh, and now what they wanted Bangladesh to be a free country. In the meanwhile, only lots and lots of people, lakhs of people from Bangladesh, they moved to India as refugees, and India, which was itself suffering from the economic crisis, India had to give shelter to these refugees. As a result, what happened? That India became the country that extended moral and material support to the freedom struggle in Bangladesh, because India wanted something concrete to be done to resolve this issue, as the problems of refugees was going beyond control. But Pakistan considered this help of India as a conspiracy against it, because Pakistan wanted that India should not have helped Bangladesh. So as a result, Pakistan seeks support from US and China. There was a visit between the dignitaries of United States to China and Pakistan, and a lot of involvement and discussion was going on between the three. So what happened? That India signed a 20 years treaty of peace with Soviet Union in August 1971. And this treaty, the aim of this treaty was to counter the United States, Pakistan and China axis, and to support and to get support or military help in case an attack comes from Pakistan again. And as expected, a full-scale war started between India and Pakistan in December 1971. The armies were involved in a severe war, and what happened? That within 10 days, the Indian army surrounded Dhaka from three sides. As a result, the 90,000 Pakistani soldiers who were there in Bangladesh, they had to surrender, and Bangladesh became a free country, and India declared unilateral ceasefire. But this was not the final thing that brought peace. The Shimla Agreement was signed on 3rd July 1972 between between the then Prime Minister Srimati Indira Gandhi and Zulfikar Ali Bhutto. And this Shimla Agreement became the reason for formalizing the peace conditions in between both these countries. This war also brought back the glory of Congress again, and the Congress party could once again come back to power, which they have lost the people's support after the failure of Nehru's stand in the China case. So Srimati Indira Gandhi came out as a strong figure after this war, and India once again could establish peace in the region. So in the next lecture, we will be talking about, in short, about India's relationship with United States, Israel and USSR at a glance, along with India's nuclear policy. Till then, keep studying and stay safe.